folks. César Cantú here, Managing Editor at Nearshore Americas. I'm joined today by Aníbal Abarca, CTO at Wizeline. Aníbal, how are you doing today?
I'm great. Thank you very much, César. It's a pleasure talking to you.
We're very glad to have you here, Aníbal. So let's cut right to the chase. Wizeline opened recently an office at the Tec de Monterrey campus in Monterrey. So please explain to me, what is this office specifically? What sort of work will be done in that office? Who will be doing that work? Please share the details with us.
Yes, of course. As you said, it was about 3 weeks ago when we opened our first office in Campus Monterrey, or our first office in one of the campuses of Tec de Monterrey. In particular, it was in Campus Monterrey. And this office is in a very iconic building that I wrote a little bit about that in a post after the inauguration, because a very fun anecdote is that I actually worked there. It's one of my first jobs when I was still a student. It was just 2 floors away from our current office. So it's a lot of great memories for me. And I'm very excited because being an alumni of Tec de Monterrey, but also now that we have been working with Tec de Monterrey in multiple fronts and partnerships, it's an amazing opportunity that we have to have an office there, to have our team and students joining to work in our space there in CETEC, which is the name of this building in Tec de Monterrey, Campus Monterrey. We opened this office in Monterrey with two main purposes. One is COVID allowed us to grow very quickly and in a remote way. So Monterrey, as being one of the most important cities in Mexico, and of course with amazing talent in the technology space and in multiple areas, it became very quickly one of the cities where we have an important concentration of Wizeliners that are working in Monterrey and the cities close to Monterrey. And I guess today we might have about 40 to 50 people in the Monterrey area, and they didn't have an office, right? So they were working remotely, they were working from home, and we wanted to find those areas, or we're looking for those cities where we have concentration, to start creating satellite offices. At the same time, we started conversations with Tec de Monterrey to see, okay, how can we expand our partnership? Expanding that partnership, we found this amazing opportunity to open our office in Tec de Monterrey, and we are doing this to host our team, current Wizeliners that live in Monterrey. So they are working in the campus, they are working in this office, which is amazing because it's an amazing place to be. But also the students that are working in these classes or working in these semester tech programs or internships, they are working from the office. So instead of working from home or working in different places, we are now hosting them in this space. We can host about 40 people in this office. We have a couple of meeting rooms, a couple of phone booths, a common area, kind of a game room, and then the individual desks, which are all desks are available on demand. And then that's the first phase. And the second phase we want to do is also to start working on research and development projects with professors and researchers from Tec de Monterrey.
Okay, that last part in particular is very interesting. So now that you touch on results, what is the end game for Wizeline when it comes to this sort of collaborations to actual offices in campuses? Are we speaking of faster recruitment, more refined scale, high retention rates? What are the expected results?
I think for the first phase is definitely have access to the talent, the amazing talent that it's coming out from the university. We believe that talent is evenly distributed and opportunity and experience is not. So we want to develop those opportunities to develop for them to accelerate their career and develop that experience. So this is very aligned to our mission with Wizeline Academy, and it's very aligned to our goal to connect to the talent community and to offer those opportunities closer to wherever they are. Um, so definitely having access to talent and having the opportunity to build a community, a stronger community with the current Wizeliners in these cities. Right? Again, the office is not only students, it's also current Wizeliners that they might or not study and or being close to the Tec de Monterrey community, but they are using this office as their office, right? Yeah, as our Wizeline office in Monterrey. So making this connection, that might help us in the retention because we're building a stronger community, and of course having the access to the Tec de Monterrey community to accelerate talent acquisition, and exposure to this to the talent marketplace or to the talent community that is available in this case in Tec de Monterrey campus Monterrey, and down the line we are expecting to open other offices in other campuses in Tec de Monterrey with Tec de Monterrey. Hopefully we can announce soon other cities, but we are starting in Tec de Monterrey, Campus Monterrey for now. The most important areas or programs that we are developing are those programs that have the highest demand in the market. That's site reliability engineering, cloud engineering, data engineering, machine learning, operations, test automation, mobile engineering, UX design, technical writing. Right? Those boot camps are the ones that we are expecting also to replicate and to offer in collaboration with Tec de Monterrey and the communities where we have presence, and to help students and it doesn't have to be from software engineering and computer science. Sometimes people come from different disciplines, but the goal will be to offer these same boot camps and learning opportunities to help them to accelerate their career in any of these disciplines, any of these programs.
Have offices, Wizeline offices in other tech campuses, been meeting expectations? I mean, are the results up to par with what you expected?
Uh, we try to focus on, and specifically in during classes or during this first semester, um, it is it's focused on learning and development, right? So that's why we have professors, I mean, Wizeliners that are teaching with the students, Wizeliners that are acting as mentors, and then we have the product owners or the product managers that are supporting this initiative. So we have a lot of support around these groups. I will say that in most cases, the results have been very impressive, right? Like it's amazing to see the demos that come out after the class period or the semester, and to see the creativity, even if it's not like a full product, like it's ready to go to production, the the ideas they're bringing, the explorations they're doing with new technologies, I found it very impressive. So in terms of results, so far it's been very positive. The next step, of course, is we want them to be ready to work on on full-time jobs, right, with Wizeline, and that will mean to be ready to work with our customers, and much more advanced scenarios or projects. So that's something that we are working on. So what happens after the first semester? How can they be ready once they have the availability or they are close to graduate, to start bringing them into a technical onboarding that will take them to the next step so they can work with those more complex projects. But for the first objectives and the projects, I would say like the results have been amazing, yes.
A while back, you mentioned community, and from what I understand, an important chunk of your workforce of Wizeliners are graduates from Tec de Monterrey, either from the Monterrey campus or other campuses. Actually, I think your CEO said that about 25% of your workers are graduates from these particular institution. So does this concentration of graduates from a specific university, does that have an effect on Wiseline's DNA as a company? I'm speaking specifically about corporate culture, about the diversity of backgrounds among your workers. How does that impact the company?
I I think that's a good question. I don't know if it affected. I would say the I can attribute our culture to that concentration, but maybe so the reality is that at the beginning we were hiring a lot of people from Guadalajara, and one of the things that we look always in the team, and it's a requirement, it's um, that everyone speaks English and everyone is bilingual, because everyone in our team, they are working with our customers directly, right? Like we don't hide behind a project manager or a curtain. So our customers are always working with our team directly. So everyone is part of the team and everyone is there in direct conversation with the customers. For that, English is a top priority for us. I guess that might put the needle a little bit heavier on the private universities in terms of where we have been recruiting. But again, as we are expanding into new cities, that it's not the case in multiple places, right? In Mexico City, the concentration is different. In Mérida, the concentration is different. In Monterrey, in Guadalajara, we might find a concentration with Tec de Monterrey, with ITESO, but it's not longer the case, I think, as we are scaling. But probably there is an important competition. English is super important, and the ability to communicate, the ability to have um, a proactive approach into how to solve problems. That's something that we're looking for in the candidates, um, and I guess that's probably a correlation there between like some private universities and that type of um, requirements, but we don't want to concentrate into only on that, right? Like we are expanding and expanding, and that's why we are also investing in the talent development with Wizeline Academy, because we want to go further into expanding the diversity and the sources for that talent.